Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Super Bowl weekend is here. I've got a bunch of grills in my backyard, a whole lot of food, and we're gonna cook all of it up, and I'm gonna show you how to cook up a feast for the big game. I'll show you how I like to do wings on the grill. We're gonna do some grilled ribs, Smashburgers, a Chorizo Queso dip, this pull-apart garlicky bread in the pizza oven, a whole bunch of different recipes, and I'm trying to utilize as many of my grills as I can to show you how each of them work and how to do it all together. The best part about today is that it is a very nice day out here. It's around 50 degrees in February, which is unusually warm, so it's actually kind of nice to be cooking outside. So let's crack open a tasty Miller Lite and get going here. Anytime you're cooking a lot of food like this, the first thing you want to do is to prep everything. Get all your food prepped up, seasoned, ready, kind of organized, so then when it comes to the actual cooking part, it can all go on your different cookers, grills, or oven, however you're doing this. We're gonna start with the rib prep first. So I've got a couple rags of baby back ribs. You can also do this with spares, really doesn't matter. Baby backs are more meaty, so I like using these instead. And what you're gonna do is just flip them upside down. So you got the bones kind of facing your way. We're gonna leave the membrane on, and all that I'm gonna do is just, you can see exactly where the bones are, and you can see them, you can feel them, and just take your knife, and we're gonna cut right in between the bones to create our individual ribs. See, so this is kind of what you get. All right, kind of a nice, easy to hold, easy to cook and serve bones. These are also great if you're having people over, great for entertaining, because not only do they cook in a fraction of the time, but they're also easy to kind of serve and put out. Everybody can kind of just grab one and eat as many as they'd like. Next, I'm gonna season these guys up with my all-purpose rub. Just coat them generously on all sides. Cutting them up into these individual pieces allows you to apply more seasoning because every side of your ribs can be coated, so you get maximum flavor. Here's a fun fact for you too. Did you know that the word or the name Super Bowl is trademarked by the NFL? So we're not really supposed to use it unless you have permission from them. That's why everybody, a lot of times, these content creators or people who make videos will just say the big game instead of saying the Super Bowl, because technically you're not supposed to say that. All right, get these guys seasoned up. So now I'm just gonna put these on the tray here, and we're just gonna let them hang out for, I don't know, 15-20 minutes while I prep the rest of our ingredients. And for those ribs, by the way, we're gonna grill them, and then I'm gonna top them off with a buffalo and ranch sauce. It's going to be delicious. Let's get the wings next. Here we go. I'm gonna keep these guys in the bowl. I've got these nice full 3-piece wings. So you've got the drum, the flat, and the tip. I'm gonna leave them as is. They look kind of cool once they're cooked up like this. We're gonna keep the prep here also pretty simple. So toss them in a little avocado oil. The oil will help the seasoning stick, and it will also help crisp up the skin. And we're gonna give them the same treatment as the ribs, so just a little bit of the AP rub. After these guys are cooked, I'm gonna finish them off with a barbecue sauce, so you don't need a lot of the seasoning, just a little bit. And there we go. Let me put these off to the side. Next, I'm gonna prep my Chorizo Queso dip, but for that I'm gonna clean my cutting board because we are done with all the kind of raw meat prep. So I'll bring this inside, clean it off, and we'll be right back. Cutting board is clean. Let's prep the Chorizo Queso. This is super easy to make. It's basically a recipe where you put all your ingredients in a baking dish, cast iron dish, whatever you have that works. We're using one of these little stoneware dishes. So we're gonna start with a block of cream cheese. Dump that right in the middle. Next up, we've got 1 pound of Velveeta. Now, I know it's not real cheese, but Velveeta will help make this nice and creamy and not grainy. All I'm gonna do with this is just kind of cut this up into smaller pieces and just put it right into our dish here to help with the melting process. Next, I've got 1 pound of sharp cheddar. There we go. The cheddar will give us that nice cheese flavor that we're looking for. So just like the Velveeta, cut it up into smaller chunks, and we'll put it right into our dish. Did I say this was easy? Right? Super easy. Next, 1 can of diced tomatoes with green chilies. Let's open this guy up, and we are going with the full can. You can drain the liquid, you can put the whole thing in, it really doesn't matter. Next, we're gonna add some taco seasoning to help amp up the flavor. Nice serving of the taco mix right on top. And to finish it off, I'm gonna add about 1/2 cup of heavy whipping cream just right in the dish. And what this will do is it'll get everything nice and loose after the cheese melts. If you do this without any additional milk or heavy cream, it'll just firm up after a couple minutes, after it melts, and it'll be super firm and dense. This will keep it nice and loose and more of that kind of dip or queso consistency. Next up, we've got about a half a pound of chorizo. So this you want to cook down first, get a little crispy, and then we'll just put this right into our container. You can also use sausage if you don't like chorizo, ground beef. Just be sure to kind of brown that up ahead of time. We got one last ingredient. We'll add just a little bit of beer into our mix, make it more into a beer cheese, and this is ready. Now this is going to go on the grill, indirect heat, about 300 degrees, and you just want to cook it until the cheese gets nice and melty. I'm going to stir it every 10 minutes or so, but otherwise this is ready to go. So let's move this off to the side and prep the next dish. Next up, we are going to do this kind of a pull-apart garlicky bread recipe. Also super easy. We're going to cook that in the cast iron skillet. And for the dough, I'm using these Original Grand's Pillsbury biscuits. You know, you can make your own dough if you want, or just buy a can of this stuff, and this works great too. Woo. This one was ready to pop. All that I'm going to do is just take your biscuits, and we're just going to quarter these guys up. There we go. Now you get these nice little pieces, just kind of roll them up in your hands. This is also a great time to subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. If you like what I'm doing, hit that bell, hit that subscribe button, get all the notifications. I'm going to be putting out a lot more of these videos, so hop along and join the ride. Once you've got your dough balls rolled up, we're going to make the garlicky, cheesy, garlicky buttery dip. I've got about 2 tablespoons of melted butter. To my butter, I'm going to add some garlic. You can use the fresh stuff, you can use the garlic stuff, really doesn't matter. We'll go with a nice tablespoon, maybe a little bit more. Next, I'm going to grate down some fresh Parmesan cheese right into our garlic mixture, and we'll add our chopped up parsley, and then just mix this up. Take your dough balls, and then we'll just dip it in this buttery garlic mixture, and then just drop them in your cast iron skillet. Make sure your cast iron skillet is oiled up. I had some oil on the bottom of mine, so that's good to go. This will just help prevent any sticking issues. These are super easy to make and perfect for the big game, because that's what you have to call it. It's the big game. Now I'll take the rest of my mixture and then just drizzle this right on top, and that right there is ready. And last, we've got some Smashburgers that we're going to be doing. So I'm going to weigh out my ground beef, get all that ready, get it portioned out. Let's move this out of the way. For my Smashburgers, I'm using some 80-20 ground chuck. It's the perfect kind of ratio, fat to lean, to make these burgers delicious. And to make sure that they come out nice and even, I like to actually weigh these guys out. For these Smashburgers, I'm going to weigh my beef balls to 3-ounce portions, beef patties into 3-ounce portions. Well, we're going to make them into little balls, so it's really kind of like a beef ball, a meatball. So get yourself a food scale. This is a very handy tool around the kitchen. Take your beef and weigh it out. It's 1.8. See, this also ensures that they are the same size. Perfect. And then just roll these guys up. So it's a little bit bigger than golf ball size. And then these are going to get smashed down on the griddle to get that maximum crust. And just like that. So this is what you're going for. All right, I got my beef weighed out, rolled up, and get rid of this. So now we can get to the cooking part. The way that I'm planning on doing this is we're going to start with the ribs first, as those, no, not with the ribs. Oh my God. It's like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm feeling this. But hey, it's the big game weekend, right? Not the Super Bowl. The way that we're going to cook all these is I'm going to start with the wings first, as those take the longest, about a 45-minute cook or so. Then I'm going to do the ribs. Those take about, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes, and these will go on the Weber. The chorizo queso dip will go at the end. That's about a 20-minute cook. That's just got to sit until the cheese gets nice and melty. Then we got to preheat the pizza oven for the pull-apart cheesy garlic bread, and then at that same time do the Smashburgers on the griddle. These are also a pretty easy cook. The wings are going on the large Big Green Egg, and right now this is cruising at around 375 degrees. It's set up for indirect cooking, so the wings don't burn. So they're gonna go right on the grate, and again, this is about a 45-minute cook. I'm gonna flip these guys halfway through to get that nice even color on both sides, and just kind of line them around the grate, close the lid, and let those guys cook. Next up, we've got our individual ribs, and these are going on the Weber kettle. So I've got my coals in there. I'm also going to set this up for dual zone grilling. So just move the coals over. Grate goes right on top. And now we're gonna put the ribs directly over the coals. Now for this first part, I'm gonna keep an eye on these, making sure that they don't burn before we move them over to the indirect side. This is such a nice day out here today. It should be freezing cold with snow, but it's like almost 50 degrees right now. Crazy, almost 60. Just hanging out, grilling, making some ribs for the big game, because that's what's coming up this weekend, the big game. And just keep cooking, flipping. Ooh, look at that. It is just sizzling. And get this beautiful color on both sides, and then we'll just move them over to the indirect side to finish cooking. The internal temperature I'm going for on these guys is around 180. That's going to be nice and tender, fully cooked, and delicious. Pizza oven is up to temperature, so let's put our cast iron inside. So I'm just gonna slide this guy right in. There we go. I'm just gonna keep an eye on those. Should probably take about 25 to 30 minutes. Maybe if that, once they're kind of nice and golden brown on the outside, we'll pull them off and they're gonna be ready. All right, ribs are finishing off on the Weber. They're gonna stay nice and warm. So now we can prep the barbecue sauce for our wings. This is a super easy recipe. It's the same one we made last time with the pork butt burn ends. You know, you can use a store-bought sauce, but making it yourself is so much better. So we're gonna start with some ketchup. Next, we've got some yellow mustard, about a tablespoon. We've got some honey for a little sweetness. And all these recipes, by the way, are on my website. You can get all the exact measurements, ratios, directions, so you can check that out for reference. A couple dashes of Worcestershire, some molasses to get everything nice and sticky, some brown sugar. We need a little bit of a sriracha to kind of balance out all that sweetness. You can add more or less depending on how spicy you like your barbecue sauce. And I'm gonna season it with my AP rub. And I'm gonna bring this inside, bring this up to a boil and simmer for about 10-15 minutes or so. It's gonna reduce down, get nice and sticky, and then we'll toss the wings in our sauce at the very end. Let's take a look at our pull-up part. Ooh, garlic bread. Wow, look at that. These guys are looking great. You still get all that butter and garlic on the bottom. I think they are done. I'm gonna cover this thing with foil and maybe just put that inside for just a few more minutes. But otherwise, yeah, these smells so good. Wings should be done by now too, or close to it. Ooh, yeah, these guys are definitely ready. Check this out. They are a beautiful golden brown. So I flipped these guys halfway through, but look at this, skin is nice and crispy. So these guys are ready. I'm gonna put these guys into a bowl and then we'll toss them in the sauce and our wings will be done. Before we sauce the wings, I'm gonna put my chorizo queso right on the egg. This is probably gonna take about 15-20 minutes. Just wanna leave it on long enough for the cheese to get nice and melty. I'm gonna stir this every few minutes, making sure it's well incorporated, and then this guy will be done. Let's sauce up our wings. Look at that beautiful barbecue sauce. Sticky, shiny. And we'll just toss these guys around, making sure they're well coated. All right. Perfect. We are in the home stretch. Let's get the Smashburgers going. Griddle's preheated. I'm gonna go just a little bit of avocado oil right on top. Drop our beef balls right on the griddle. I'm gonna smash these guys down, so I do have this burger smasher. You can use a spatula as well. I like to use a little parchment paper so it doesn't stick. Put the parchment paper, smash, and just press it down. And we've got our Smashburger, and then we'll just repeat it with all of them. After they're smashed, just season the outside with my AP rub. And after about 2 minutes or so, we'll give these guys a flip. Look at that, I get this beautiful crust on the outside. This is why Smashburgers are my favorite. And now we'll go with our cheese right on top. So a slice of American cheese, because everybody knows it's the best cheese for burgers. And after the cheese gets nice and melty, these are ready to be pulled off. They were super thin, so these patties cook super fast. Look at that, get this beautiful, cheesy, delicious burger. And for my buns, I'm using these King's Hawaiian slider buns. I think these are kind of new. I've been seeing these on social media more frequently lately. So they're these nicely formed slider buns. They're pre-cut. So just gonna drop these guys right on the griddle here, toast them up. All right, let's start the assembly process and put all this together. I've got my buns toasted. Let's start with the sliders. See how everything turned out. Our chorizo queso dip is finishing up, so that'll be the last thing that's gonna come off. Otherwise, everything else is ready to go. Let me move this here. Let's put the sliders on this nice little plate. Ooh, these guys are looking great. I can tell that these will not suck. All right, let's go with ketchup, a little mustard, and we'll put the tops on. Dish number 1 is ready to go. Next up, let's plate the barbecue chicken wings. And we'll put these guys right on the plate from our bowl. Seems like we had a lot of these, but now that they're on the plate, it doesn't seem like it's that much. That's okay. Grilled barbecue chicken wings are ready. And next up, let's do the grilled individual ribs. These guys are still super hot. Here, check this out. Look how nice these look. Beautiful crust on the outside. First up, we're gonna go with buffalo sauce. And I like to go pretty heavy with it, just right over the top. And next we'll go with some ranch. You can also do blue cheese. I find that ranch works really well on these. The finishing touch, hit it with the little greens, and you have your beautiful grilled buffalo ribs. Next up, we've got our pull-apart garlic bread. We're just gonna finish it off with some more freshly grated Parmesan. And last but not least, we've got our beautiful and delicious Chorizo Queso. And to finish this one off, we'll top it with a little cilantro and make it look nice and pretty, vibrant, colorful. And just like that, our Super Bowl spread is ready. It's crazy that we kind of cooked all of this right now. So we got the barbecue chicken wings, we've got the Smashburger Sliders, Chorizo Queso dip, pull-apart garlic bread, and the grilled buffalo ranch ribs. So we started this at around 10:30. It's 12:30 now, so 2 hours. Probably a little bit less. We probably started closer to 11. If you're gonna make this at home or really any other recipes, if you're cooking a lot, just prep all of it first. Get all your equipment ready, get everything set up, and then just cook it all at the same time. This looks and smells really nice, so let's dig in and try it all out. I'm gonna start with the ribs first. I've made these before and they come out so good. You get the buffalo sauce, you get the ranch, beautiful crust from cooking them right over the coals. These are so good. Oh yeah. Still tender. They have a nice mouthfeel to them. Nice little bite, little chew. Yeah, these are delicious. Next up, let's go with our pull-apart garlic bread. Really excited to try this out. Look at that. Beautiful crust. It smells so good. Ooh. Oh yeah. Garlic, butter. Really can't go wrong with it. Serve this maybe with a little thing of marinara, and this is perfect. All right, making our way across, let's go for the Smashburger slider. The crust that you get on the Smashburgers is my favorite part. Super flavorful. These are perfect. Perfect for your party. Let's go for our Chorizo Queso next. It's been sitting out here for a couple minutes, so the top is starting to firm up a bit, but look how nice and creamy this is. Super smooth. It's not grainy because we use that Velveeta. You get the chorizo in there, the tomatoes, the green chilies. Oh yeah. Meaty, flavorful, a little spicy. This is perfect. This is really good with chips. You can serve this with little toasted crostinis, pretty much anything, veggies. And finally, we will go with our beautiful barbecue chicken wings. Grilled, finished with our own homemade barbecue sauce. Nice and sticky, little sweet, little spicy. Oh yeah. Making that sauce yourself, you can really customize it to exactly how you like it. Perfect balance of sweet, heat, nice and sticky. These are delicious. And that is how you cook up this delicious, beautiful feast for the big game that's coming up on Sunday, not the Super Bowl. Big game. Anyways, thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you like what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to get all the notifications. All these recipes are on my website, so be sure to check that out, and I will see you next time. I'm going for more ribs because these are probably my favorite. So good.